The following episode may contain inappropriate material. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Mattalk. Now listen here, I want to just be up front with you guys and let you know that you can choose the ending of this episode of Mattalk. First of all, you got to call 1-800-496-8532 for option A. You don't know what option A is because we haven't gotten to the end yet. Or 1-800-839-4625. That's option 2. You can choose how this episode ends. Just dial those two numbers. It's going to cost you $27 a minute, but that money all goes towards charity and to help Matlock get his all-the-way hot dog. I am just proud to welcome you guys back, just like this episode got me excited, man. Every time I watch Matlock, I get in the mood for a hot dog. But hot dogs made at home are not as good as hot dogs like at a stadium or on the grill.
Well, you know me, I'm on the grill guy. I'm not a broil type of dude at the baseball stadium. I had no idea where you were going. I was at first thinking, are you trying to tell the listeners that they have two choices how Mattalk ends today? Because I wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah, they got two choices.
They have two choices. Okay, so choose your own adventure podcast.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is recorded before they'll get to choose, so it's all null and void. I forgot what the phone numbers were. Anyway.
Well, you fooled me. I'm like, damn, he wrote down the phone numbers.
Let me ask you this. How is this a compliment towards hot dogs? The best hot dog is better than the worst hamburger.
Yeah, that's not a very good that's not a very good sales pitch, I should say.
I'm saying that hot dogs are not very good.
No. Well, folks, we should probably let you know that in this episode of Matlock, we have an option to pick who the killer was, which I think was pretty ingenious in 1988. But they give you 3 different phone numbers to call in, and you get to choose who the murderer was. I'm assure you that probably, if you watch it on Pluto or MeTV, that option is not available. That it's just going to be one character that is guilty of the crime. I really dug it. I thought this was kind of cool, a cool interactive way to get people involved, and I'm sure it also spiked the ratings. Do you think?
Yeah, fun little shtick. I didn't know they did this kind of shtick back in the day. The shtick that I remember on television is back in the mid-'90s where they had the scratch and sniff cards with the 3D glasses at Subway, and you could watch Revenge of the Nerds 4 and Smell-O-Rama.
Really?
And, yeah. So they gave you like 4 cards, and then on the screen, a number 1, 2, 3, or 4 would pop up, and then you sniff the card, you scratch the card and sniff it, and you would be like you were there. The sniff cards didn't work very well because, of course, I had those 3D glasses because Nerds was my favorite franchise. 3 and 4 not so much as now that I've gotten older and realized how lack of quality they are. But I think that this episode is a perfect because tonight the original Law & Order comes back. And one of our guest stars, I'm doing the guest star thing first. One of our guest stars is Dan Florek.
That's right. One of our guest stars is Dan Florek, who will be playing the role of Ken Pritchard, a.k.a. Captain Cragen from Law & Order. And you immediately texted me that you love Dan Florek. So I don't mind that you jumped ahead already. Let's talk about it. You were excited to see old Dan on your TV screen?
I was, man. And he was on an episode of Law & Order recently, but it was through like a video chat. And it's this guy. Did he ever have hair, like a full head of hair?
No, I don't think he did. I don't think he ever did. Yeah, I don't think so. Before we do the opening statements thing and all that jazz, how are you feeling? Because we should let the listeners know you again have some health issues, albeit this one. Do you want to talk about it or not talk about it?
So when I went to see Jackass 4, I was picking up my nephew, and I slipped and fell on a chunk of ice, and the right side of my head just caught the concrete. And I didn't think anything of it because I felt great. So I went to the movies, went home, still felt great. Worked for a week, still felt great. My supervisor at work found out that I had fallen and smacked my head, and because she noticed that my eye had a bunch of popped blood vessels. So she's like, "What happened to your eye?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's nothing. I just popped a few blood vessels when I smacked my head on the concrete." She's like, "Wait, what? Why didn't you go to the doctor?" And I'm like, "Because I feel fine. I feel okay." She's like, "Go to the doctor," because she had a friend who smacked their head who felt fine. 2 weeks later, he had a brain aneurysm. So she told me to go to the doctor. And I'm a mild hypochondriac. So as soon as I heard that, I'm like, oh my God, my brain's going to explode. So the next day, I actually started getting a headache the next day, which is ironic. It was right on the right side of the head where I hit. Go to the doctor. Doctor's like, yeah, you have a mild concussion. Stay off of, your phone as much as possible and the computer. So I'd prefer if you didn't work for a week. And I'm like, I have an interview on Thursday. How about I not work for 2 days? I go back to Thursday. He's like, if that's what you want to do, but I recommend the week. So I called my supervisor and I said, listen, my doctor says I should be out a week, but don't worry. I negotiated him down to 2 days. So I'll be back to work on Thursday because I have an interview for a promotion. And she's like, no. You stay out of work for the week. We can do your interview on Thursday only if you really want to do it that bad, or we can reschedule it. She ended up rescheduling it, and I got an extra 4 days on the weekend, which I did not plan on or want, because that means 2 weeks of my vacation is out the drain. Because
Wait, don't you get sick time?
we get 3 total weeks a year to take off amongst everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So
all right, I did not realize that.
I already taken a week off. Now I got a second week that I've taken off. So I got to save that third week because I plan on going to California.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better, man.
Oh, yeah, I feel great. I mean, except for the eye, and like I said, I have a headache. It's funny the headache started the day I went to the doctor, though.
When I had my diagnosed concussion, I started feeling it driving home from the hockey rink. And I was like, yep, I got a concussion because I started getting a massive headache. Yeah.
Felt concussed?
I felt concussed. I went home and went to bed, and the next morning I woke up not feeling right, and I'm like, I got one. Here's the funny part. I've had at least 2 other times where I felt the exact same way after a hockey game, and I'm like, well, man, you mean I've been concussed like at least 3 times, and I did not know it. So
did you go to the doctor?
On the third one, yeah, but the first 2, I just was like, oh, whatever, man,
Apparently, hitting your head is very serious.
Yeah, I know. I know.
You should always go to the doctor because you could have a brain bleeder.
Yeah, I know. All right, well, let's get on into it, Jason. Let's go ahead on into our opening statements. The episode is called The Hucksters, and the original air date was February 16th, 1988. We've already talked about the one guest star that we're very happy to see, but there's actually a second guest star, and I'm surprised, Jason, you didn't mention anything about this individual. But we will see Beth Broderick playing the role of Jane Barnes. Now, I don't know about you, but I know Beth Broderick best as Aunt Zelda Spellman on Sabrina, the Teenage Witch.
Nice. I've never seen Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Really?
The original Sabrina the Teenage Witch? I've seen the new one, but I haven't seen the original.
Well, Beth has also done a ton of Hallmark holiday movies and also played the role of Dr. Ellen Radler on the sitcom Melissa and Joey.
Oh, I know her as Diane Jansen on Lost. She was on Hearts of Fire with John Ritter.
Yeah, she's got a lot of credits to her name, so a familiar face that we will see on this episode of Matlock.
Yeah, sadly, no Murder, She Wrote, and no Perry Mason.
Oh, man.
No, but she has some geek cred, man. She was on Castle. She was on Bionic Woman, Supernatural. Like I said, Lost, Under the Dome. Oh, she was in A Very Merry Toy Store. I love that one. I'm going to have to go back and revisit it. Is that the one I'm thinking of? Is this the one where they have the 2 toy stores next door? Yes, it is, with Melissa Joan Hart and Mario Lopez.
It seems wherever Melissa Joan Hart goes, Beth Broderick seems to follow.
This is so great. He owns, You've Got Mail. He owns the nice, big corporate toy store, and she owns the small mom and pop toy shop. And they end up falling in love, and it's such a lovely story.
All right. So that's it. Those are our two notable guest stars, as we've already ran down Dan Florek. Now, does Dan Florek get special credit because he's been on all the Law and Orders? He should get some type of accolades or whatnot because he's been on all of them. So he doesn't have to worry about Murder, She Wrote and Columbo and getting that hat trick. He needs to.
Dan Florek has been on. I'm pulling up his IMDb as well because I love this man. I mainly know him from SVU, but I know that he was on the original Law and Order first.
Yes, he was. And, for not many episodes, though. Just a few episodes.
He was on 74 of the original Law and Order.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. What am I thinking of that he was only on he was on another cop show, but he was only... I can't remember now what cop show it was.
He was on Roseanne, Hardball, LA Law, which is also coming back very soon. He was on like 26 episodes of that.
Well, the man has been around, that's for sure.
He has, man. He's fun. One of those people you love to see on television. And I'm glad. He's like Munch. He just kept playing that character, Cregan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's what I was going to say. He had a role as Cregan on another cop show, and he was only in one episode, but he was Captain Don Cregan.
Exiled. It's a movie where he played Don Cregan.
Okay, there you go. Okay. All right.
Nice. Good stuff. I need to watch LA Law as somebody who loves lawyer shows.
Yeah, I'm surprised you haven't dove into that.
Dude, right now I'm spending time with The Good Wife.
Okay, the actual show, not his good wife.
No, not his wife, just The Good Wife. I've fallen in love with The Good Wife, the actress and the show.
Did you think I met Dan Florek's wife? Is that what you were saying?
Huh?
What did you mean by, no, The Good Wife? And you're like, no, not his. I'm like, who's he?
Yeah. I thought you were talking about Dan Florek's The Good Wife.
No! I don't even know if Dan Florek's married. I'm just assuming he is. Anyways. All right, enough of this silliness. The folks listening at home want us to get our A game ready to go. So let's do it, Jason. Are you ready to give an opinion? Your opinion, and only your opinion, so help you?
I think so. I think I can do it.
Then it's time to testify.
Testify!
All right, the plot of this episode of Matlock is Ben must defend a man accused of killing the head of a pyramid scheme. Now, as we mentioned, there's possibly 3 individuals that could have done the crime. We'll get to that in a little bit. The opening scene.
I gotta be honest. This is how naive I am as a human being. I thought pyramid schemes were a newer thing. I didn't know.
No.
I mean, it makes sense to me that they would have been around for a while. It's just it never caught my radar until the guy that did it recently, Madoff. Bernie Madoff. Not Sanders. Not getting political.
At least you didn't say Bernie Kosar. That would have been even more funny. Anyways. No. I think they go back to the times of like snake oil salesmen, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I have this elixir that'll fix you from, you have the mumps or the measles. You drink this elixir and Walla Walla, Washington, you'll be cured. The opening scene is the exact same opening scene as the investigation. It's that Atlanta highway that has no cars on it whatsoever. That's totally like fake because there's no way there's not that much traffic in Atlanta at any point in the day. But we'll then go to a scene where an infomercial is being made for a beauty skincare type of deal. And it is Robert and Ken who are kind of arranging an interview with there's going to be another gentleman interviewing Robert. And right off the bat, I think Robert's a scumbag. Your thoughts on the character of Robert?
Yeah, he comes across as a scum, as a jerk face.
Yeah, Robert seems such a scumbag, so swarthy. And he's told that 2 people have come to see him. Jane Barnes and Dawn, I believe. Calloway was his name. So Jane and Dawn are watching another infomercial in another office, and Jane and Dawn want to renegotiate their deal with Robert. And Robert takes offense, and he explains that he's still getting cash on their projects. Now, Jason, I don't know about this. This doesn't seem like Jane and Dawn did a lot of due diligence before kind of getting in bed with Robert, does it?
Mm-mm.
I wonder what kind of percent he was getting.
Probably most of it.
You think it's an 80-20 split?
Something like that.
Okay, so all of a sudden we're introduced to Hal. Hal Simpson busts into Robert's dressing room to explain that he has all of this product, all of this beauty cream product, but he can't sell it. He can't sell it. His girlfriend's mad at him. She got kind of an irritation from using the beauty cream. She might dump him. And Hal is there to stand up and say, I can't do this. I can't sell the product. I want my money back. And it doesn't go well for him, does it?
No. Of course they're not going to let you out. You agree to do it. Like, you're the dum-dum for thinking you could sell beauty cream.
Exactly. And this, I do marvel about how pyramid schemes work. Because I oftentimes, when you hear about it, you're like, come on, use your common sense. You're not going to get rich. The people at top are going to get rich. You are just still going to make your weird salary.
I remember people selling knives, going door to door selling knives.
Yeah. Knives, health products. I'm trying to think what else I've encountered in my life.
Knives is a big one, though, because why are you going to let somebody with a bunch of knives into your house? You know they're sharp.
Right, exactly. So Hal eventually gets a pep talk from Robert, but it really doesn't make any difference, and Hal gets a little more agitated. He gets thrown out of the office. All right? So then we go down to the floor of the set, where there's going to be an interview between Lawrence, that is the interviewer, the guy that's kind of been cued as to what to ask, and Rob. And so Robert is there, and he's talking, and he decides to put on the face cream, and he's talking about how great it is, and all the ingredients are all natural. And as he says they're all natural, guess who croaks right there on the set?
I wonder how many people return the face cream after they watched him die.
Oh, you know darn well this never sees the light of day. This is an episode that is shelved. You know what I mean? That's not coming out. That's not coming out unless somebody like Inside Edition digs it up.
Was it? I thought it was live TV. It wasn't live TV?
No, it was live to tape, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
So, this is one thing that I really didn't dig. So, Hal shows up at Matlock's office. Michelle is frantically looking for something. And my question is, he explains that he is charged with murder. How did he get out on bond? And I mean, I don't know. I've never been arrested, but I assume from everything I've seen in TV and movies and whatnot, you have a lawyer there for your bond hearing. So why does he need Matlock? He should have already had an attorney.
Because he wanted the best. He wanted the best. He had $75,000 ring, and he wanted the best lawyer that rings could buy.
That's right. $75,000 ring. Oh, yes, indeed. There is some evidence that points that Hal might have done it because the poison has been found in Robert's tea and the rest of the poison found in Hal's house. Okay, what do you think about Hal Simpson?
He seems to me kind of a doofus a little bit.
I didn't like him either. I thought he was very slapstickish. I did not dig this character at all. I have more to say about Hal in a little bit. We cut to the courtroom where Ben has told Michelle, the classic Ben, that he left his wallet in his other suit.
Oh, they do look alike.
They do. Honest mistake. I mean, he has probably 36 of the same suit. So Michelle has to buy a hot dog. And so Michelle and Ben talk about the pyramid scheme. And Ben gives us a little history. Jason, do you recall why Ben loves hot dogs so much?
Because his dad loved hot dogs.
Wrong parent.
His mother loved hot dogs.
His mother loved hot dogs.
The best hot dog is better than the worst hamburger.
Yeah. Again, not a ringing endorsement, Ben, whatsoever. Michelle, she prefers to be a little more healthy. She eats yogurt.
Yeah, I love yogurt. Greek yogurt.
Are you a fan of yogurt?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't mind it. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I don't mind it.
I rotate between that and cottage cheese with fruit in it.
Okay. All right. Well, Michelle explains that Hal has left a $75,000 ring. And Ben kind of scoffs and is like, no, there's no way this is $75,000. And they come to the conclusion that somehow Hal's grandmother swindled him into believing that this was a very expensive ring, but it's not.
$75 is what Matlock said.
Yeah, $75, right. So then my question is, then why does Ben even bother with taking the case? I think that's kind of something that always made me question throughout the rest of the episode. Why is he even there?
He felt bad for him. He said it. I feel
did he?
bad that the Duke could get swindled by his own grandmother.
Okay, so there you go. I missed that. Okay. All right. I wish I would have caught that, and I would have quelled my my curiosity. We go to a scene where Ben and Michelle and Ken Pritchard are all watching a tape of the interview. And we got to talk about a theme. We haven't talked about some themes in a while, but wow, those shoulder pads in Michelle's blouse. Woo! They were big.
Yeah.
They were very big.
We're almost out of the 80s, but I don't think shoulder pads leave that quickly into the 90s.
No, I think they're around for a while. Ben gets an opportunity to interview Steven Spector. Did that name not make you think of a bad superhero?
Steven Spector?
Yeah, Steven Spector.
Move over, Stephen Strange. So Steven Spector is the man of the hour.
Man, Steven Spector does something no one in the history of the show so far has done. He ain't playing, man. You want to talk to me? Get a warrant. We have never heard that on Matlock ever before, have we?
No, they usually just talk.
Yeah, they just go ahead. Oh, yeah, I know. I was here at 9:30, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, they sing like a canary. Not Steven Spector. You better get a warrant, man. You better get, and it better be a legit warrant, not like one of those training day ones that it's actually a Chinese takeout menu, and you fake it as being a warrant. So Ben goes over to Jane's office and he overhears an argument between Jane and an employee. And I guess the employee gets fired from Jane. And why is she in her office wearing an aerobics unitard? I don't...
She's exercising. Got to get it in when you can fit it in.
Jason, come on. You're a businesswoman. You should have that. You should save for when you're doing a taping of your aerobics workout or something else along the lines where that would be appropriate. I don't think this is appropriate. This attire is somewhat, I don't know, proper.
I don't know what to tell you.
Well, you know what we should do? Let's open it up to the listeners. Hey, let us know. Is aerobics outfits back in '88, is that okay just to wear any old wear? Shoot us a message and let us know. Jason, where can they send us an email?
If you think John is a prude and, a working woman back in the 80s, she had to make time when she could fit it in. So working out in the office is A-OK. You can email us at benmattalk@gmail.com.
I take offense to that statement. I am not a prude. I did not have anything against a woman in charge, especially even in 1988. I take offense to that.
If you don't think John is a prude, email us benmattalk@gmail.com.
Oh man, we should have had two hotlines. If you think John is a prude, dial 1-800-775-3282. If you think he's not a prude, dial 1-800-519-7878. It's only $3 a minute.
Yeah.
Hey, real quickly, I would like to mention that you can also find us on Facebook at Mattalk Podcast. Or you can also find us on Twitter, and you can tell us what you think over there as well, at Mattalk_podcast. We're aerobics attire, A-OK to wear out in public. Ben and Jane are talking a little bit. There seemed to be a little bit of flirting going on with Ben, but all of a sudden, quickly, Jane ends the interview, and that's it. She gets a call. Don't talk to Ben anymore. There you go. But guess what? Ben is resourceful, because guess who he hits up for a little bit of info? That's right. The fired employee, who I'm sure has an axe to grind, man. Jason, I'm going to ask real quickly, since we've joked about the hotline and whatnot. When you were a kid, did you ever call one of those 1-800 numbers?
Not to my recollection. I wanted to, because they had so many of them. I think there was a Police Academy 1-800 number. I think there was a Freddy Krueger 1-900 numbers, what I should say. That's what those were back then. No, I don't think so. Now, when I got into my middle school days, I would call certain 1-800 numbers just to listen to the intros and then hang up. But I don't remember listening to anything when I was a kid.
Yeah, see, 800, and then as you mentioned, in the 90s, they would become 1-900 numbers. They were synonymous with professional wrestling. Every organization had one. Call and get the scoops of what's going on backstage. I never did because
Really?
I feared.
Yeah, you were probably too afraid to do it. But I could see little John Orlando hiding under his bed calling the Hulk Hogan 1-800 number.
I was afraid that if I got caught by my mom and dad, that I'd have to pay for the call because they would not be putting up with this malarkey of me running up the phone bill, talking to Hulk Hogan or, Ric Flair or whatever hotline I was calling.
Hey, brother, this is the Huckster. Let's talk.
Well, goddamn, kid, it's Stone Cold Steve Austin. Anyways.
He wasn't around in the 80s, John.
Well, no kidding, Hulk. Anyways, that was terrible. That was both awful. Please, listen to the rest of the episode. Don't turn us off right now because you're disgusted by these bad impressions of the Hulkster and Stone Cold. All right, you know who?
Whatever, brother.
You know who is as cool as Stone Cold Steve Austin? Tyler Hudson. And Tyler shows up at a vacant home. And when I say vacant, there's literally a desk and 2 chairs, and that's it. There's no other furniture. As Tyler's looking, and he wants to become part of the pyramid scheme, or so he tells Don that. And I do like that real quickly, Don catches on, and he throws Tyler out. Like, get out. You're done. And as he is standing outside Tyler, he sees 2 dudes messing around with Don's car. And what do these 2 dudes do? They kidnap Tyler, and they take the car. Now, later we'll find out what this is all about. But at that moment, did you find this to be a strange scene?
Yeah, kind of.
Because I thought these were like mobsters that wanted to whack Don. You know what I mean? And we find out, here, I'll go ahead and jump ahead a little bit. We find out they're repo men. They're there to repo the Rolls Royce.
Yeah, they are. That's going to come back to a great scene.
Okay. Well, Jason, before we get to that, I do you agree or disagree with me? I think that that's a little bit like over the top because I think most, like, from everything I know about repo men, they don't want conflict. They don't want to fight somebody or kidnap somebody or whatnot. They want to get in, get out, get the car, go.
Yeah, usually they do it when nobody's around.
Right. So this was really weird, but we'll come back to what more about this here in a few moments.
I mean, it was the 80s, so who knows what kind of shenanigans they were up to back then.
Yeah, good point. Ben is at Steven Spector's office, and he flirts a little bit with the secretary about the cream. Man, Ben is all over the flirting on this episode, is he not?
Yeah, well, Ben's always flirty.
Man, he's trying to get numbers like a madman, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well,
he's old. He's not. I mean, I didn't mean to say he's old, but he's still young, man. He still wants to, feel alive.
The secretary says he doesn't look a day over 39.
Yeah, see?
And she doesn't look a day over 45, and she goes, I'm 62. Mind blown.
Yeah.
But as the secretary goes to get more beauty cream for Ben, he overhears an argument in Spector's office. So Ben wants to talk to Steven Spector, but he's reluctant to do so. And what do you know? Just like we saw in an episode or so ago, there's somebody standing on the other side of the door.
Yes, there is.
How many times are we going to get this shtick where you see the feet moving and that? Come on, let's come up with something more original, writers. But Ben drops a subpoena on Steven, and then he decides to barge out those extra doors and try to catch the person who is on the other side. And what do you know? Ben gets shanghaied, and he gets shoved into a broom closet. He tries and tries and tries to get out of that broom closet, and eventually the custodian shows up and lets him out. And then a very angry Ben confronts Steven and gives him the 3rd degree. And Steven spills the beans and says that Robert is screwing over Jane and Don on their contracts. So how did you like Ben being stuck in the closet, so to speak?
He doesn't go nowhere except for the fact that he was stuck in the closet. But, I mean, it's fine.
Like, my question is, what was he doing with the dustpan? Because there's a scene where he's like trying to jam the dustpan underneath the knob. And I'm like, that's not going to work, Ben. What?
He was trying, John.
He's no MacGyver, we know, but, you know.
If at first you don't succeed, you keep trying.
That's right. And we do know, as we'll get a little bit further on in Matlock, we do know he's not very handy. Ben is not a very handy guy. He's no Bob Vila. Did you like that one?
Neither is Tim the Toolman Taylor. But...
There you go. Well done, sir. All right, Tyler returns to Don's place. All right, and we find out that, again, that Tyler's attackers were repo men. Tyler has paid the money to get the car out of the possession of the repo men, and so he lays out that he believes that Don is broke. And as a side little, I guess you could say, middle finger, so to speak, to Don, Tyler's keeping his car, at least for the rest of the day. And so off he goes. What did you like? Did you like Tyler's like heavy-handed, like, oh yeah, the car, it's mine. See ya.
I was just like, can you get a car out of repo for a day?
Well, my question is, you're not the owner either. So, like, I think that you would be like, here, I'm going to give you $3,000 or whatever. But I don't think that the repo people would be like, oh, okay. I don't know who you are, but okay, fine. Your name's not on the title. Sure.
I'm a private investigator. I just need to borrow this for a couple hours to go mess with this guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be it. You know,
smooth. He could have gotten that car.
He caught it. Yeah. Again, I don't think that there's so hands-on repo men but maybe they were in the 80s. I don't know, but it was just an odd coinky dink, if you will. So now Michelle goes to interview Jane, and Michelle has some really unique stars on her blouse. Like, I'm like, that is a very loud blouse. Ken shows up, and he leaves a tape of the new shows that Jane has recorded. All right, and what do you know? Michelle swipes the tape, man. Is that even legal to do? Like, you could just steal something out of somebody's office and use it for your own, like, court case? I don't think you can do that.
I don't think you can do that either.
In fact, if there's any lawyers out there that would like to let us know about that, you know where to find us.
BNMATTALK@gmail.com.
Nicely done, my friend. Nicely done. So at the TV studio, Ken shows up and he's got just a mountain of cash in a briefcase. And then all of a sudden, Michelle and Ben appear out of nowhere and they confront him. Michelle says that the tape that he left in Jane's office is blank and that Ken told both Jane and Don not to talk to Ben. Now, the question I have is, and I think the question that was posed, does Ken really know who killed Robert? Well, Ken gets huffy and leaves. And this is where we get the old school kind of voting poll. This is the first time it shows up. Guess who the killer is? By the way, I have written down it's 50 cents a call. And they blurred out the numbers for the DVD release, which I thought was kind of cool. Because at first I'm like, I thought within the first few minutes of them doing this, I'm like, is this really real or is this a gag? And I'm like, oh, man, look, they blurred out the numbers. So this is real. This really went down.
I was looking down at the time. I looked up. I'm like, I'm going to call. And then I noticed the numbers weren't there. And that disappointed me a little bit. I want to see what's there. Welcome to Value City Furniture.
Wait, that's out of business too. Come on, man. Jeez.
Value City Furniture? They're still around.
Are they still around?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm thinking of just the department store Value City. I'm sorry. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, man. Value City and Schottenstein's.
Yeah. There you go. So Ben and Michelle are at the station, and Ben discovers a clue. And I really like how Michelle knows how to work everything in the control room of a TV studio. I was like, of course she does. So they rewatched the tape a couple times, and Ben has an idea. So now we go to our first, and I believe only courtroom scene, where Ken Pritchard is on the stand.
Yeah, our good buddy.
Our good buddy.
Played very well by Dan Florek. I need to reach out to Dan Florek.
Yeah, we do need to reach out to him. He should come on and talk about this episode. It's revealed that studio time was very expensive, but Jane and Don were screwed into staying at that studio, paying the exorbitant amount because it was written in their contract that they could not film anywhere else. Can I ask the question? What other shows are on this TV station? It just seems like it's Robert, Jane, and Don, and that's it.
Maybe it is. Maybe it's like PBS for Atlanta.
I think it would be more like cable access maybe for Atlanta.
There you go.
Oh, I miss cable access here in Columbus, man. There was some wild and crazy stuff on there.
I don't know that I've ever watched cable access in Columbus.
Really, as a kid, you never watched like some of those wacky shows that were on?
I don't think so.
Oh man, you're missing out, dude. You're missing out. I have a few in my mind. I'll tell you off air some of the ones you need to look up on YouTube. Anyways, so Ben presents a teapot and tea bags, which the tea bags aren't herbal, which is what Robert drinks. So Ben kind of reenacts Robert's last moments, and he demands that Ken put the face cream on. And all I could think of is, it puts the lotion on the skin or it gets the hose again. That's all I could think about during this small scene. Ken refuses, and then it's revealed that maybe the poison was placed in the cream that was then put in the case. I'm a little confused. Were you on this? Because I'm like, so it wasn't in the tea, or it was in the tea, it was in the regular tea, not the herbal tea, or was it? I was confused. Were you?
A little bit.
Okay. Can you smooth this out for me, or no? You're as equally as baffled as I am.
There was poison in the tea. They put it in there too because they wanted to frame the guy, but the thing that killed him was the poison in the lotion.
Okay. And by the way, I just gotta say, this judge is not Judge Cooksey, but she is a pushover. She just lets Ben do whatever, much to the chagrin of the prosecutor.
Yeah, remember, we hear this every time Ben leaves the county. We're not going to let you put up with those hijinks that they let you get away with back there in Atlanta.
Yeah, indeed. Ken switched the jars on the set because they were out of order. Okay. And I do like that they had this really awesome jump cut to the prosecutor who's like objecting. I thought that was a really great cinematography. But Ben doesn't believe that actually Ken is involved in the murder. He believes that Ben is blackmailing the others because he knows who did it. All right. And I did like that there was a couple of flashback scenes too. Since we're talking about cinematography, I thought that was kind of cool. All right. How they did that. So Ken reveals that it's Jane Barnes who killed Robert.
Dun, dun, dun.
And then we cut to a scene where Hal introduces his girlfriend to Ben and Michelle. Ben gives him back the, quote, $75,000 ring, end quote, and Ben wants another hot dog. We do have the alternate ending. So in the DVD, you could go back and select it automatically defaults to Jane Barnes, but you could pick the other two. And the only thing that was a little bit lame, I thought, Jason, was it's the exact same scene 2 more times. They just plugged in the actor, that was Steven, and then the actor that was Don. So it really wasn't anything real super fancy.
No.
And I'm wondering, when was the cutoff on the voting? Like, was it that day? Or was it like, oh, we're going to push it right up to the hour, and they had to like grab, the right edit? You know what I mean? I'm just curious. I don't know.
It was up till the last second because they said you have 7 minutes to choose.
Oh, that's right. In the second promo where they did that. You're right. Yeah, okay. You had 7 minutes. So they really pushed it to the limit. Again, kudos to NBC. That was cutting edge at the time, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it was. Like I said, this is back when TV was looking for gimmicks to get more butts and seats. And I think This is a good gimmick. I'm surprised they don't do this more now because the technology is there.
Yeah. Absolutely. Think about it. You could just be watching with your phone and you could hit a button and vote for whatever. Yeah. Jason, do you have any other questions, concerns, whatnot? Any notes that you want to talk about real quick?
I do have a concern. I have a little itch on the bottom of my foot that's been driving me crazy during this recording. But, you meant about the episode. No, I don't have any questions about the episode. All
right. Well, with that then, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into our closing statements. This is the part of the podcast where Jason and I are going to rate this episode. We're going to rate it on a gavel system. 5 gavels for an awesome episode, 1 gavel to a pretty lousy episode. Not only will we give you the rating, but we'll also justify why we are giving that said rating. Jason, do you want to go first?
You go first.
Okay. All right. So the Hucksters, not the Hulksters. We already talked about Hulk Hogan. That was
hey, brother, leave me out of this.
Anyways, I'm giving it 4 gavels. I really liked the episode. The positives, I liked the call-in voting. I thought that was innovative. That was cool. I thought that the acting was pretty good. Beth Broderick did a very good job of being a very snarky and evil Jane Barnes. I thought Tyler's scenes were excellent. I liked the flashbacks. I did feel, and here's my biggest drawback. There was nothing done with Hal Simpson. Like, I think he literally is in the episode 3 times. There's nothing, no character development for him. He's very one-dimensional. There's no interaction between him and Ben, or very little, I should say. I didn't like that. I also did not like that the ending seemed really, really abrupt. Like, oh, Jane Barnes did it. Okay, why? Like, there's no like explanation. You assume it's to get out of the contract, but yeah, I liked it, but I had those 2 problems with it: the abrupt ending and how. So, Jason, what about you?
This episode has Dan Florek in it. It automatically gets a 1. And I thought the episode was pretty good. So I'm going to go 4.5.
Okay.
3.5 plus the 1 for Dan Florek. I thought it was very well done. Again, yes. The problem when you're going for the gimmick is you've got to leave some strands open to make sense that other people did it.
Good point. Good point, my friend.
That was the weak moment that kind of pulled it down from a 5 to a 4.5. But overall, it was a fun episode, and we get some Tyler shenanigans, and we all know how I feel about that. So
yeah, okay, all right, good point on that. Actually, very good point about the gimmick bringing it down some and having to be more abrupt with the ending. I never thought of it that way. Cool. All right, well, let's talk about some other podcasting projects. Jason, what does the 3 Geeks podcast have going on right now, man?
We are live every Sunday talking shenanigans and fun, crazy stuff. We interviewed April Rose Gabriella, which you can check out her new single, and Kulik, both musicians, both fantastic musicians. That was on our last episode of 3 Geeks during the 1 o'clock hour. And yeah, man, we're just doing it. I just got some emails to some people that I'm hoping to get on the show very, very soon.
All right, man. Where can folks find all of the stuff related to 3 Geeks podcast?
3geeks.ninja, or follow me at 3geeksj, Jay.
Okay. And of course, I have the PVD Cast, which is my own personal podcasting project. It's available at pvdcast.com or through all those major podcasting outlets. This week's episode is somebody that you and I know quite well. Comedian and fellow podcaster Jeff Dwoskin joins me on the PVD Cast to talk about podcasting, comedy, Wordle, social media, all kinds of topics. So you don't want to miss it. Again, pvdcast.com, or just search for it through your podcasting app that you enjoy using. So
I'm going to give Jeff a shout out. Listen, if you guys out there really want a Monkeys Talk podcast, Jeff is the guy to talk to.
He loves the monkeys.
Yeah, so tweet him, email him, just whatever you got to do to find him. I think he's at Jeff is Funny on Twitter, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, he'll get that.
Or definitely at Jeff Dwoskin Show. That's it too. And, Jeff's a good dude. Glad to have him back on. So, Jason, with that, shall we get on out of here, man?
Yeah.
All right. Then as they say in court, nothing further.
The following has been a joint production between the 3 Geeks podcast and John Orlando Enterprises, LLC, copyright 2022.